Am I the a-hole for suggesting my son call off his wedding? My son, Peter, 31M, is getting married to Ellie to 9F in less than 3 months. I've never been very close to Ellie even though they've been together for nearly 7 years. She is not a very friendly person, and I've always had some concerns about her behavior. For instance, when they first started dating, my son lived with me and Ellie would come out to visit for the weekend. They were in a long-distance relationship. They would often cook dinner at our house, but would rarely invited me to join them. I found this to be incredibly rude, as it felt like they were excluding me in my own home. There was also an incident where she was using the washing machine when it overflowed, which completely warped my hardwood floors and led to me having to cancel a dinner party had been planning for weeks while I got someone out to fix them. Over the years, she's barely made an effort to get to know me, and every overture I've made has been rebuffed. I even made her a birthday dinner one year and she said she felt sick, which delayed dinner for everyone else, and it was cold by the time she was feeling better. Even when they got engaged, she didn't reach out. I gave them a not insignificant amount of money for the wedding, and I didn't even get a thank you card. She said thank you on a phone call later that week, but it was in passing and just seemed to be completely thoughtless. Most recently, I went to visit a few months ago and found myself incredibly worried with how Ellie talked to Peter. They got into a fight while I was there. I'm not sure what it was about, but I heard part of it, and everything she said was just so cold and rude. I never even spoke that way to my ex-husband, even when I hated him. Ellie gave Peter the cold shoulder for an entire day and refused to join us on any of the activities we had planned. I got the invitation to their wedding a few days ago and just felt sick to my stomach. After thinking on it for a few days, I felt like I would be doing Peter a huge disservice if I didn't speak up about my concerns. I just don't see how he can actually be happy in this relationship. He did not take it well, and we ended up having a huge fight. He told me that me and Ellie's relationship is one of the biggest stressors in his life, and that Ellie has been a rock for him through some tough times over the last few years. He also berated me for never giving her a chance, even though I feel like I've done a lot. Now he's not taking my calls, and it looks like Ellie has blocked me, so I'm sure he told her what I said. I just want my son to be with someone who deserves him. Am I the a-hole?
Am I the a-hole? My sister-in-law thinks I wanted to purposely outshine her at her wedding. This happened at my F26 husband's sister F31. She got married last week. Please don't think of this as bragging. I have always been considered physically pretty. People have always told me that. It has its perks and its cons. I had a hard time because of this when I was at school, because let's say that I was a stereotypical cheerleader. My point with this is that often other people either only paid attention to me because of my appearance, or as they thought everything I did was against them. This was a big issue amongst girls, which I think might have something to do with this as well. So well, the conflict. My husband and I got invited to the wedding. It was at a very fancy location, truly a very beautiful wedding. So I decided to dress up a little bit. I had a baby 3 months ago. I wore a dress with cleavage. When her and her husband were busy catching up with friends, some family members came and complimented my outfit with the always so necessary comment about how good I look because I've lost most of my baby weight. You know how much people like to talk about that. Then the other incident was because we didn't bring our baby with us to the wedding. One of my friends was babysitting for us since she lives nearby. He only breastfeeds, so she had to drive him twice so I could feed him. The first time was when they were giving speeches, so I went to the car, breastfed him, and she left. Then the second time some people wanted to see the baby, so as we were outside, because of the music, some of our family came to greet my baby. The thing is that my other Sil posted photos of the wedding. She posted one of me and her which said with the prettiest doll, because she calls me Barbie sometimes. My Sil thought that was very nasty. She posted on IG saying that no matter what, some people always want to shine brighter than others and steal the stoplight even on special occasions. I saw that and I sent her a text like, "Hey, is everything okay?" She didn't answer that day, but the next saying that I can't possibly be this tone deaf and that the post was about me. I was like, what? And she said that because people were posting and talking about how pretty I looked at her wedding, how good I look, how lucky my husband is, how pretty my baby is. You get the idea. I told her sorry, but I don't really see how that has anything to do with me. She said that I'm doing this on purpose and to back up her argument. She said that in the photo I posted. People were commenting on that kind of stuff. She insists that I wanted to outshine her by basically looking prettier and having people coo at my baby. So I think this just might be that female competition, because I've seen it other times. It wouldn't be weird to me if she thought that me dressing up or losing weight was something I've done to purposely harm her, because it has happened to me before. But I don't want to be too harsh, and I want to give the benefit of the doubt, because maybe I was wrong. EDIT, as I see this is a recurrent question, I can't pump and leave a bottle for my baby because he doesn't want it. He would rather go hungry than drinking from the bottle, so that's not an option. We weren't discussing my looks all night. We discussed the wedding, bride and many other topics as well: work, family, their trips, etc. I didn't announce that my baby was outside. My baby was invited, but my husband and I decided to leave him with a friend. It wasn't a child-free wedding.
Am I the a-hole for wearing my wedding dress to someone else's wedding? Please read the whole story before jumping to conclusions. I 20F married my husband 2 years ago. We aren't rich and don't care that much about weddings, so I wore my prom dress to my wedding. It's not a super fancy dress or anything. It's basically a long sequin dress in deep dark blue with one sleeve. For the reference, the dress my friend Aita 2F was attending my wedding. Since the wedding, I wore it on a few occasions because it's basically the only one fancy dress I own. Recently, Shiara was getting married, and I was obviously invited. The wedding color scheme was dark blue and she requested fancy attire, so I thought my dark blue dress would be fine. It's not white and it's not even remotely close to a wedding dress. I also didn't feel like wasting money on another fancy dress that I wouldn't ever wear again, especially since we aren't rich. So I showed up at her wedding in my dark blue sequin dress. It wasn't standing out or anything. Most of the guests were wearing even more fancier dresses. However, when Chiara saw me, she lost it. She yelled at me in front of all the guests, in front of her husband and my husband, saying that what I did was horrible and that no one shows up at a wedding in a wedding dress. I tried to reason with her, saying that the dress isn't a wedding dress, it's the only fancy piece of clothing I own. I wore it to multiple occasions before and after my wedding. She didn't listen and kept yelling at me to the point her bridesmaids and her husband started trying to calm her down. She also said a bunch of unsavory names to me. I was very upset with the drama and decided to leave with my husband. Then I started getting texts from Chiara, who blamed me for upstaging her on her wedding day for driving a wedge between her and her husband, since he said that she overreacted massively and upset her friend over a dress. I decided to ignore them because I think she is being unreasonable. But a part of me thinks that I was because I wore the dress to my own wedding.
Am I the a-hole for crying causing a wedding to be called off?
I am 31F. I have a friend named Anna 35F and Alex 33 meters has a 7-year-old daughter named Frankie who has a severe peanut allergy. Alex is very protective of Frankie and takes great precautions to ensure her safety. One day, Anna and I decided to go to a restaurant, and we informed Alex beforehand. He explicitly told us to make sure that there were no peanuts in the food. Unfortunately, in the midst of ordering our meals, I completely forgot about Frankie's allergy, and she ended up eating something with peanuts in it. This resulted in Frankie having a severe allergic reaction and requiring immediate medical attention. Upon learning about the incident, Alex understandably became angry and upset. He directed his frustration towards me and Anna, stating that we should have asked about the presence of peanuts in the food. Furthermore, he expressed that he no longer wanted me around Frankie. If we couldn't be more responsible, I busted out in tears. This argument escalated, leading to a major fight between Nana and Alex, and ultimately causing their wedding to be called off. Now, both friends and family are placing the blame on me, stating that Anna and I should have been more cautious and that I ruined the wedding because I'm an idiot who doesn't listen. Please leave comments for all of today's stories down below. Thanks for watching.